Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. My name is Matt Cooper, and as always, I'm joined by three wonderful guests. We'll start with the most wonderful Dave. Dave, how you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Sorry, Finn. Sorry, Tom.
Absolutely gutted.
Finn, how you doing, mate?
Am I second? Oh, great. Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you.
You good? And by last but no means least, Tom, good to see you again, mate. How's things?
Not too bad. I'll recover from the slight ego hurt that I've had.
Hey, you're lucky to be here, Tom.
After comments about sweaty men in the last podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, if anything, that should have got me even more fans.
Oh, we've got a lot to go through today, chaps. We've got the Leeds game to look at, the Everton game. Looking forward to the next two fixtures. We're going to talk partnerships with Peak Six Investment and also some sports memorabilia cards that Wolves have partnered with. And then we're going to take your questions and do our best to answer them. But let's start with the Leeds game, chaps. It wasn't a great game, was it? But I think, you know, the way that the game panned out, I think we got away with one, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah, which was frustrating really, because before the game you look at the Leeds side, obviously Rafinha coming back in, but they were missing some crucial players. Obviously Bamford was out, a couple of defensive players, obviously no Calvin Phillips as well. So it was really a Leeds team which is a lot weaker than what we've seen really over the last 12 months or so in the Premier League. And when we did the preview on the channel and whenever we were doing content on it, Leeds fans were just commenting, saying basically they were dreading the game because obviously we'd hit that little bit of form. And they were sort of out of sorts really. So yeah, I mean, first half was okay. We got the goal we needed to. Hwang scoring again, right place, right time. But second half, I don't understand why we played so negatively really. Allowed Leeds to have far too much of the ball. And obviously in the end, our own mistake, giving away the penalty. Yes, it was soft, but it's one of those where if the referee gives it, I think VAR won't overturn it. But at the same time, if the referee let it go, I don't think he would have given it, if you know what I mean. I think the VAR would have probably said, I'll go to the monitor and have a look, but I don't think he would have given it. So it's just one of those. Wolves are unfortunate on the day in terms of that, but we allowed too much pressure from Leeds, to be honest, and just little things from us. I think Bruno, I mentioned it before, I think Bruno took that game against Brentford a little too literally with all their time wasting and all their antics. We saw that a lot against Leeds. And yeah, we should have put the game to bed, at least got a second goal. But from half time, it was, in my opinion, a typical what to expect from a couple of Portuguese managers, i.e. Nuno and Jose. You know, get that one goal and shut up shop, and that's probably not what I would have expected from Bruno, if I'm honest.
You not mention that name around here, please.
Sorry, Solutions. Yeah, Solutions man. Yeah.
Solutions. Yeah. I mean, Semedo went from kind of hero to zero, didn't he, Finn? He did really, really, really well to... I don't think he got the assist at the end. I think Jimenez did, but did really well on that right-hand side to set up the goal. Some fantastic work, which we've been crying out for in terms of his attacking output, to get further forward and take on his man. And then he gave away the penalty, didn't he, Sin? It's do you think it's a penalty, or do you think he's been a little bit hard done by?
Yeah, it was a prime Matt Doherty performance, wasn't it, really? Good going forward, poor in the end at the back, but a much more expensive one. To be honest, it was the easiest last-minute goal to take, I think, ever to be in a stadium. It just felt, as Dave said, it felt fair. So it wasn't too bad. Like, at the time, I thought, yeah, penalty. Then watching it back, it was soft. I don't think... You could probably criticise 3 or 4 players in that move as well, because Gelhardt actually did about 3 or 4 of them before he got to Semedo, and then that's the time where he had to put in some sort of challenge. And it wasn't great. And as Dave said, I think... Still with VAR, somehow how we can say, oh well, if the ref doesn't get it, shouldn't be like that, should it? It shouldn't be it should be a decision, but it's never going to be. But as I say, yeah, it was. I'm not too hurt about it because it felt fair, and which is a weird thing to say. I'd love to be overly biased and Wolves only, but looking at it down the middle, I think it's probably they deserved maybe more than that.
It's not a clear and obvious one to overturn, isn't it? I think that's the only way that they will overturn it, if it is clear and obvious. And even to, like you said, it's soft, but we're not sat here saying there's no way that's a penalty. You can see why it's been given. But Tom, the approach from the game was, I'm going to drop his name again. It was very Nuno-esque, wasn't it? It wasn't very good offensively, and from the second half, we just shut the shop and invited a lot of pressure onto us.
Yeah, I think we did, but I think at the same time, Bruno's still quite a young manager, and this is only his roughly third season coming up to games wise as a manager. So I think he's just trying to, experiment, sort of figure out what works and what doesn't. Yeah, it was disappointing in the approach to the game, to be honest. I thought, considering that Leeds were out of sorts, like Dave said, and with a weaker squad, I would have expected us to maybe be a bit more attacking. I can kind of understand a conservative approach, but not to the extent that we showed it. I think the squad that we have at the moment means that we can't go balls to the walls every single game. We just don't have the players for it. So I think games like these will happen over the course of the season. I think there will be the odd game in every 3 or 4 where we really do have to sit back and be conservative, purely just to sort of save the squad, really. But yeah, it was disappointing, but I think there were positives from it. I think the fact that I'm pretty sure Jimenez got the assist for the Juan goal. That partnership is seriously going to be something for us this season. And we'll touch on to the Everton game. That could have happened yet again if it hadn't been disallowed for offside. So those two linking up yet again is really promising. And again, Semedo showing what he's worth going forward, which, he gets a lot of stick for his defensive work. I thought he was unlucky to give away that penalty. Players are always going to look for that contact. Smart from Gelhardt, to be fair, or cute as pundits would call it. But yeah, it's not a penalty for me. If it was the other way round, I would have been disappointed for us to get that just for the consistency of the officiating. Obviously, you'd be buzzing for a last-minute equaliser. But yeah, like the others have said, it felt fair. I was obviously gutted that we dropped the 2 points, but on the balance of play, you couldn't really argue against it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember us having too many clear-cut chances in that game, or even really threatening Leeds' goal. So I think we did get away with one. Dave, one thing for me that didn't work was that midfield pairing of Moutinho and Dendoncker, and then leaving it till the 91st minute to bring Neves on. It's just criminal, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Tom said about Bruno being still quite young and inexperienced. I think these are the things that he's got to learn quickly, because if you asked any Wolves fan currently if you had one bad thing to say about Bruno, it probably would be the substitutes. That even against Everton, to be fair, they were just too late. I think he just needs to make them a little bit earlier, be a bit cleverer with them. But then Donkey's had good spells this season. Spurs in the Cup, he was good. But if you're going to play him, I think you got to play him next to Neves. Just a little bit more energy than what Moutinho has. And I think Neves, he's been really good this season. And I think you've got to use him next to Dendoncker. I don't dislike the Neves-Moutinho partnership, and we saw how good that was against Everton. But yeah, just the one thing with Bruno, I think, is those substitutes. And he used them, far too late in that game. And I think against Leeds, I said it was 2 points dropped. And a lot of people said, how? Because we were that bad. But we were bad, and it's 2 points dropped for me because we could have so easily won if we actually played how we know we're capable of playing against that quality of Leeds side. Just look at their bench. People are slagging off our bench. So look at their bench that last Saturday. You can see the difference, really. So yeah, we should have done better.
Their right back goes out with one of my mates. That's how deep their squad is. Leeds is mad. Got booked for Valnadama. Sorry, carry on.
A little bit of trivia for you. I bet you got him on the booking points.
I'll be going around in the pub quiz.
Stick a leg in. That's match fixing, actually. Cut that. No,
I can see both sides of the coin, though, Dave. I think the manner that we lost the game, it's like, well, we were 1-0 up with like a minute to go. It is 2 points dropped, but then you also look at like the bigger picture of we were absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And against a better side, it probably would have been put to the sword. But like he said, with their squad depleted, he fancied us to go there and get 3 points. I certainly did.
I think that was the main thing, really. The fact that I know we played badly as such, but like we'd seen them off for however long, and they played the whole second half without them really having a sniff. I think Gelhardt come on and change the game for Leeds, and I think he's got a big future in the game. But it was avoidable as well. The goal was avoidable, like you said, Finn. We skipped past 2 or 3 players. You got to stop that earlier. So it was just frustrating the way we drop 2 points really. And those 2 points, if we had them, now, I think we'd be fifth in the league, So yeah, just a little bit frustrating, really.
Yeah, you look at the game like that, and then the first 3 games where we were so unlucky to come out with 0 points. So where would we be, or would we have, that luck we've had in the past few games? Would we have got that? But like you said, it's disappointing in the manner that we played and in the manner that we lost it. But moving on to the Everton game, and I personally think that first half was the best football we played all season. Purely because we had the ball in the net 3 times. We probably, in terms of like link-up play and aesthetics and playing on the front foot, we probably played better in the first 3 games. But we just couldn't put the ball in the net. But to put the ball in the net 3 times in 45 minutes, Finn, he's unheard of from a Wall side of the past couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think I can challenge you on that, really. It felt like, I knew I could hear the lag.
It's going live to Finn there.
Just a slight delay.
Everton game's just finished over here. I can't really challenge you. I think that was the best 45 minutes. That front 3 just felt very balanced. It's a boring way to put it, but it just felt like everything was working. The Hwang Jimenez, as we've referenced, it feels so Jimenez and Jota in the way that Hwang plays and his stature and how he plays and 2 feet and everything. It was a corner goal, which is a nice improvement to see. I thought Aït-Nouri's crossing was fantastic. I think I mentioned it probably about a year ago on the podcast that when we scouted him, there was these mad numbers that he's crossing at Angers, and we've never really seen it since then. So to have him on corners, at least that's one way to see it. And Max Kilman's got rid of that 50p head for one time. I think it is something to do with futsal, because you don't have to head the ball, do you? And then
you can do.
Learn in the last, can you?
Yeah,
not much though.
Yeah,
I suppose.
It's
But
like
now he's had a good few years heading the ball. It seems to be improving. So goals of all different types. Job done. As we'll get on to second half, it's still not. We haven't put together a full 90 minutes in a while, have we?
No, to be fair, mate, Kilman didn't even get off the ground anyway. Like he never does. He never gets off the ground. He didn't have to.
He doesn't jump, does he?
Yeah,
He's never learned how to jump.
That the link-up play in the first half, I think the second half we really faded out of the game. But that everyone was saying like, why isn't Adama playing? But you saw why, because the fluidity across that front 3 was sensational, and you almost had Jimenez, Hwang, and Trincao, and Aït-Nouri and Semedo all playing in the same line in terms of like horizontally, and I think that's why they linked up so well. There was more fluidity between Hwang and Jimenez, and Trincao opted more for that right hand side. But Tom, I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was really good.
I think it shows the depth that we have in attack. Really, the amount of options that we have going forward. I mean, we're a very top heavy side. I think we all know that, but actually making use of the forward players we have is a nice change, and you can see that the players that have come in are learning a lot quicker and adapting to a different style of play that definitely suits them a bit more, being on the front foot. The pressing was really nice to see. Obviously, we saw it in the first few games, and we kind of had to, rail it in a little bit, just to, make sure that players didn't get injured too often. But I thought it worked to an absolute charm. I mean, I thought this was a really, really tough game on paper. And we just made them look so average. Really made Everton look like a very, very average side. And that's what happens when, you get your forward players working in tandem. And like I mentioned earlier, that Hwang and Jimenez, those two together, are going to be superb. Really, really got a lot of promise about them. And obviously, if the rumours of that John Percy tweeted out are true, that Wolves want to permanently sign Hwang in January, then I don't think anyone would be gutted, or I don't think anyone would be against that anyway, because he's been a revelation since he's come in. Really, it's the closest thing we've had to Jota since he left. So I think that aspect is definitely a positive to have.
I hope that Percy tweet isn't true, because he also said the Wolves aren't looking at centre half. So
yeah, that's ridiculous.
I don't believe. I don't believe.
They've got to.
I think
there's no way they don't. Surely.
No, I think it's more to do with early January. I think is in the fact that I think they will look at a centre half, because they were looking at a centre half at the end. But I think it was more to do with who are they going to play when Bolly and Sace go out for the because the chances of you the window opening on the 1st of January and the Wolves announcing a centre half on the 1st of January are very unlikely. So it's probably early January. I think the club do have that depth, albeit, not fantastic. They do have that depth there if we need it.
No, I agree. We'll come on to that.
We could have 2 England internationals by the time January rolls around.
I hope so.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. But
in defence as well.
I don't see it, mate. I really don't. I just don't. I think he'll pick me.
When's the team out? Is it going to be out
tomorrow? Thursday.
So,
at 2
He
o'clock.
cannot pick Mings over Kilman. He will, but the difference. Come on. Kilman's been super. Kilman's been superb this season.
It'll be Michael Keane or Tarkowski.
Or is Michael Keane left-footed though? It'll be a left-footed centre half.
I think Keane's left-footed, yeah.
I don't know.
Every club has one, don't they? Because they're like, Brighton will go, why isn't Duncan? And Burnley will go, why isn't Tarkowski? Everyone's got an English centre.
He was there. He was there on he was there Monday, wasn't he? So Southgate and what's his name? So
he's right-footed, Michael.
Agent Cody will sort it out.
Who knows? Who knows? I still like. He's done really well this season, but he can still be. Still be a little bit rash with his passing on. I think if there's nothing on it, it's just like a lump rather than just taking his time. Have to force it. But I suppose
I like him, but I think Dale, who's an avid Talking Wolves watcher and listener, he tags me every time Kilman has a good game on the goal notification. He tags me again.
Oh my God.
Because obviously when there was a rumour that he was maybe leaving last summer, or summer just gone, I said on the channel that I was more than happy to move him on because I don't think for the direction the club wants to go in, I don't think he's good enough. I'm happy to eat my words now because I think he's proved that he's good enough for a Premier League side. I think it'd be an unbelievable achievement if he got into the England team. It's weird where it's come from. It was just a random Twitter account that said that there were whispers coming from Wolves that he was in the team ahead of Mings. And I've not seen anything bar that tweet. And the only reason I can see Kilman being in is because he's left-footed. But Southgate was there. Was he looking at Kilman? I don't know. So a huge achievement if he's in the squad.
I'll tell you what, he better be looking at Pickford because I thought he was outstanding.
Made some good saves.
I really like
he was. Yeah, he was. He's had a good season this year, hasn't he?
He's very much like Sarr. Like he's a very good goalkeeper, but you always know there's like one bollock that he's going to drop, and that bollock could be at any point. I mean, we saw the best and worst of Sarr, didn't we, against Everton? I don't know what I'm not directly beyond is that passing lane. We tried to pass it out to Sace, and I think he got caught in 2 minds whether to like either loft it over him or play it round him. He said he just played it straight at Richarlison, and it was just calamitous, wasn't it? But let's move on to that second half, chaps. And Everton changed their shape a little bit. They came out a different side as expected, and it was almost like, here we go again, wasn't it, Finn?
Yeah, sorry, I could hear that one was going to be a long one. Am I hearing it? Can you hear me? Give me a note.
I can see you, Dick.
Yeah. It was, and shout out Jimenez, by the way, for the first half. Unbelievable. Best performance this season in 45 minutes. But second half, it just feels like that hasn't quite gone from... Well, it's got to be Bruno saying it. It's not him saying, right, let's go and attack, and all the players go, oh, no. It says more than 50 on that clock. We better sit in now. It's got to be Bruno saying it, but it just feels like they're more comfortable doing that. And what didn't make sense to me was then the substitutions, as we were saying. Surely, if we're going to play like that, which I don't think we could have because Everton were awful in that first half, obviously they got a bit of a kick, but if you're going to go at them again, fine, stick with it. But if you're going to sit back, you've got Traore on the bench. That's when you want Traore. If you're 2-0 up, and then you could literally just stand him on the halfway line. I don't know. We got the win, so you can't complain, but we don't seem to make it easy, and we can't, as I say, can't put together a full 90 minutes yet. And people will call it sensible or whatever, but I don't know. That last 10, 15 minutes, it didn't need to be nervy. Everton were awful, and we nearly gave them away back into it. But I don't know. Overall, it's a good performance.
Yeah, I think I summed it up on the fans' react. I said in the first half, Everton are lucky that they've not played a top-class side because that could have been 5 or 6. And then in the second half, we were lucky we've not played a decent side because I think they could have beat us because they had a lot of chances. But
to be fair, not too many clear cut, were they? Not too many. Whoa,
we had chances as well, though. In the second half, we had good.
Yeah,
that's
Trinko
why
should have scored.
Trincao had a chance.
My God.
When
Jimenez
Jimenez and Huang combined,
Yeah.
they both had a chance. I think there was another opportunity as well. Like, we got in some great areas and great positions. And again, like, I know we sat back and sat deep, but on the counter attack, when Everton were coming at us, we created some great chances. Aït-Nouri had loads of room on the left, did really well. And we created some good chances. And Trincao, like you said, you mentioned his chance, I think, on target, that's in the back of the net. And although I didn't think he had a great second half, Trincao, it just seemed to, like you said earlier, Finn, it was very balanced. And I think that at the moment, that's why he's being preferred to Adama, because just technically, Trincao is a hell of a lot better than Adama. And I think with how Bruno wants to play, this patient but attractive attacking football, I think Trincao gets in that team over him all day.
He looked shagged though, didn't he, towards the end? He might still be suffering with COVID.
Yeah, but like, that's why I know there have been loads of questions that we might talk about later about Adama, but for me now, if you look at, when Neto comes back, that means you've got Adama further down the pecking order. I knew you were going to say that. I'll start laughing.
For me now. For me now.
We don't have him as well, do we?
I say when Neto's back, Adama's down the pecking order again for me, and then what gives? So I think it's interesting that he didn't even get a kick on Monday, if I'm honest.
I think people. Like, I see people on Twitter saying, and to be fair, I was at the game. I was calling, get Adama on because you want to see him. It's exciting, but when you take a step back and you think, and everyone's saying, I think it's telling he didn't bring him on. I don't think so, no, because with 2-1 down, you want to bring someone on who's going to retain the ball, and I don't think Adama does. I know you've got the option of leaving him up there on his own, but I think he made the right subs. I think Prudence will come on. He won't give the ball away. He won't do anything daft. That's the way that I look at it. I think it was pragmatic, and in the end, he got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it a number of times where Adama's come on, and I think it does take him a while to grow into the game sometimes. But you've seen him at Southampton, they were pushing for a goal for the last 10 minutes, and the only touch he had, I think, is when Jimenez, the only, opportunity he had was when Jimenez probably should have passed him the ball right at the end of the game, but he didn't get a touch. And then there was another game where he didn't get a touch of the ball after he come on the pitch, so I get why people are calling for him to come on, because I think with how high, high that Everton were pushing, you just have to release Adama once and you got a chance. But at the same time, like you said, Matt, I think with how Bruno wants to play, it's a different story. I think Adama, as much as I like Adama and I want him to succeed, he makes us very one-dimensional. Whereas Trincao, I think, he can offer overall a lot more.
I think he's one of those players. I always similar to Mahrez. To watch, he's just unbelievable. His end product's not as good as he's like. If he could finish a dinner, maybe a world beater. But it's just the way he turns and the way he glides. And I mean, he forced a fantastic save from Pickford in the first half too. And you're almost praying that if he gets on the score sheet here, he could come into a bit of form. But it's really exciting. But Adama just really unbalances the side in the way we want to play, but it upsets me, mate, because I love the bloke. But at the minute, I can only see one way he's going, and that's probably gone in January if Neto comes back.
Yeah, I think Trincao still leaves a lot to be desired for as well, though, because as good as he is,
I agree.
I think it's pretty obvious that he could do a hell of a lot more. And if you were asking me this question a couple of weeks ago, I would have said I was disappointed with him. But I think that the Everton game has shown spells, and I think somebody said it on the Fans React as well. He just gets in those half spaces, and he looks like he's going to lose the ball, but he still comes out of it. It happened a couple of times against Everton, but he still has so much room for improvement, and that's what's exciting, really. That's what's exciting.
Yeah,
so
I know, because Bruno in the pre-match, he's basically, I think it might have been even last week. He said he actually named Trincao, saying I want more from him. That's why I push him, because I know how good he can be. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously a sign that he also echoes your thoughts there, Dave. But a win is a win at the end of the day. Finn, going back to your point about Jimenez, I think Jimenez and Neves, you could tell that they were just a cut above anyone on that pitch that night. They were unbelievable.
Yeah, mate, Jimenez is. I know I probably focus on him a little bit more. Neves was unbelievable, and Wolves put out a little 3-minute compilation today. If anyone hasn't seen it, some of the stuff that Neves did that I didn't even notice first time, unbelievable. But no, yeah, Jimenez was just. I don't know whether it's because he's now got his Jota-like figure that he's like, right, I know where he's going to be, so I can do my little pirouette and then know he's going to be that. Like, since them two have come together, and whether they can communicate with each other, they just communicate in hugs after goals, it seems like. It doesn't seem like there's much going on, but without the language, they know where each other are going to be, and it's unlocked something different in him. I was worried those first few games, but especially in that Everton game, whether I know it was a below par opposition, but he just looked, as you say, a level above.
His role's almost evolved, and he's coming a bit deeper. But it was nice to see Neves pick the ball up and actually play like vertically and play like through the thirds into Jimenez, and he turned. And there's a couple of like half chances that they created. That's what we've been crying out for, and I think Jimenez is perfect for that. But Tom, let's talk about that Neves performance. I think he went under the radar a little bit because he didn't score, didn't get an assist.
Yeah,
but he was absolutely. He's a general in that midfield against, Alan's a good player. I know that
an experienced player as well.
Pony, but
yeah, no, I think that kind of sums Ruben Neves up really under the radar. I think he does, especially last season as well. I think Wolves fans have appreciated. I mean, even some Wolves fans didn't see his value, but even last season, his defensive game improved so much. He's fantastic at getting the ball back in the middle of the park and just getting us going. He times his tackles really well. He's so intelligent. You can tell that he's learned off Moutinho for the past couple of years because his footballing brain has just skyrocketed the past couple of years. And I know that he doesn't score as many worldies as he used to. And, some fans have doubted him, but not for 1 second have I ever thought that we should get rid or thought that he was below par. He's been superb this season. Bruno Lage has worked absolute wonders with him. Just making use of his intelligence on the ball, getting him higher up the pitch like we saw in the Championship, picking up the ball on the halfway line instead of on the edge of our own D, just makes such a big difference to his style of play. And he's got players around him now that are playing like our front three did in the Championship. Intelligent movement, fluid. You've got Jimenez who can drop back, link up the play with Hwang and Trincao coming inside. We've just got a lot more flexibility for Neves' passing range, which is what we didn't have last season because we were very one-dimensional and we would just play it to Adama and hope for the best. So Neves was barely getting on the ball because we would just whip it out to Adama using the centre-backs, or he would just play it out to Adama every time. So I think that Everton game just surmises really how good he can become under Lage.
Yeah,
and
he was.
If you think about how Lage just, got Joao Felix, and I think he's coached Renato Sanchez before as well. I don't know. If we get those two in midfield, my God, what a midfield that'll be. That's praying though, obviously, but yeah. Super.
Well, Lille are bottom of the group in the Champions League, so they might need some dough. But even like Moutinho, to be fair to him, he much improved on Leeds. Every 50-50 they won and they battled. And I thought we did well. If we can carry on the first, you're not going to play at that intensity in the first half for 90 minutes. But it's about how you manage a game out. But like I said, positive, 7th in the league. Renew your passport, chaps, because it's going to happen.
Can you believe? I can't believe we're 7th. By the way, can we unbelievable the fact that we're in this position after the first few games.
Fair, man, look at the teams that we played recently. I think we've had a very handsome run in.
Yeah, you got to look at the fixtures.
If we start the year, as in like the calendar year, and we're still 7th or 8th, then I'll be like, yeah, this has been unbelievable. But I don't think
I still think Bruno's done a hell of a job though with the squad that he's been given. He's got 4 centre backs basically, or 3 because Bolly's been hit and miss this season with injuries. He's had pretty much just Cody, Kilman and Saiss to play a back formation with a back 3. He's reinvigorated a lot of the players like Moutinho or Neves that, some of us doubted last season. He's got players learning a lot quicker. We've got a much more exuberance about the side. Aït-Nouri looks so good. I mean, I was really, really happy to see people praising him on Twitter because he's had a bit of a rough start to the season, really, with Marcel being a shoe in every game. But if that was a performance to show why he should be in the side ahead of Marcel, I don't know what it is because he's just so good going forward. His defensive game as well has improved massively. You can see why we've got him in ahead of Vinagre. So there's lots of positives to be done, and I think he's done a stellar job at the moment. Yeah, the fixtures have been kind, but you've got to beat.
You wait till that yellow ball comes out, Tom. They don't like it.
Oh yeah, but you've got to beat who's in front of you at the same time. If you look at some of the teams that we've played, Newcastle, we drew with them about 5 times in a row. We beat them. There's definitely signs of improvement in there. We've come out of tricky situations getting 3 points.
We have played some proper shit, though, haven't we? Like when you look at it, but no, we have some proper gash teams, as our mate Dave has probably. But
Brentford not being one of them.
Yeah, let's have a look at the next two. You got Palace away, West Ham at home.
That is tricky. Tricky.
Dave, how many points are you having from that?
I'll have 6.
Go on then.
Get out of here.
I'll be satisfied with 4.
How about if that 4 came for a point at Palace and a win at West Ham?
I don't give a shit as long as we get 4 out of them 2. You know? Look, they're going to be Palace are on a massive up. They got more draws than IKEA at the moment. But you look at it. I said that to the Palace fan on the preview. I said that to the Palace fan on the preview, and he loved it. You look at them. They're on a. You look at their results so far this season. Beaten Spurs, which isn't hard, I suppose.
Everyone has.
Beaten City, obviously at the weekend as well. So they're on and up. They're doing well. The 2 games they lost, I think, were to Chelsea and one other side. They are drawing a lot of games, but they're on and up. They've got a different look, a different manager now, Vieira, who I wasn't convinced by, like, as an outsider when they appointed him. I wasn't 100% sure, especially as he was like their 3rd or 4th choice. But he's doing an okay job right now. I think what the advantage could be for Wolves is if they get a little bit too overconfident. A lot of their fans are thinking they should be wiping the floor with us. Now they've just beaten a 10-man Manchester City. But West Ham are doing really well. I'm really surprised with how well they're doing, considering they're in Europe as well. Got a good depth. And on paper, I don't think they've got the strongest side in the world, but David Moyes has got them playing and some good football and scoring a lot of goals as well. So they're going to be a tough one. If we can get 4 points out of the 2, I'd take that, I think.
Finn, how many points are you expecting for the next 2?
5? No.
Not really how it works, mate.
Do the maths in my head.
Some going that, wouldn't it?
that was very similar to when the transfer deadline day we did the stream. We've got Finn sum up the transfer deadline window in 3 words.
3 words. Roller coaster.
It's so out of context. I wasn't even listening to Dave then. I was trying to think of what point total isn't possible. I think is it only 5?
Banter.
I think that's right. Great. Yeah, less funny when I tell you I've been thinking about it for ages. I think 3 there. The Crystal Palace one's funny because both teams are going to go into it thinking it's winnable. So someone's going to be disappointed, and as Dave said, more 1-pointers than my FPL team. There's another one. I think it's going to probably end in a draw. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another one. No, we'll leave that to Dave. But it's probably going to be a draw. So I'm going to say 2 or 3 points. Realistically, I'd probably take that.
2 or 3. You take 2 points. Have a bit of ambition.
You're unbeaten now. Unbeaten. Stay unbeaten. That's all you want.
Nah. You want to win in there.
I'd say 2, to be fair.
You what?
I'd say
Lethal Bizzle here.
2 very tough games. That.
You want to win at least one of them. I'd happily take a pacing off West Ham and beat Palace.
We always do. But before lockdown, we always did quite well at home against West Ham. Even Pizza Man scored against them, didn't he?
He did, mate.
Yeah.
Started crying.
Yeah.
We saw you
just
crying.
Realised he was in Wolverhampton.
Bagley merchant. He was an emotional bloke, wasn't he, Patrick?
We did all right against West Ham at home. So I think it's Saturday 3 o'clock though. I ain't sure about that.
We didn't even
concede
concede to them for 4 games.
I wonder if they've got a game in Europe. Oh, it won't be for Saturday, will they?
Nah, it's after international break, isn't it, as well?
So Declan Rice gets absolutely panned and has to. Obviously not a nasty injury because he's a great player, but just a little voice strain or something to keep him out. Just something that's going to keep him out of the team for a week. But chaps, let's move on because we're conscious of the time. We're 35 minutes in, and we've not even got to speak about Wolves' news breaking the last couple of weeks that Peak Six Investment acquires minority share in Fosun Sports.
Yeah, man.
Of course, you saw people on Twitter do the nuts because they're not spending money on the pitch, etc., etc. And then you've seen people like they've invested in Bournemouth and Dundalk, and apparently they ruined Dundalk. But it's not actually an investment in Wolves, is it, Dave? It's an investment in the Fosun Sports Group that owns Wolves.
Yeah, so I think Fosun Sports was a new thing and probably helped by the fact that obviously this Peak Six have invested in it. So basically, you've seen the launch of this Wolves records, but they're Fosun Sports. Basically, they've just grouped everything together. All they do, so Wolves obviously is a club, Wolves Esports, all the other stuff that they do really. And Peak Six have bought minority shares in Fosun Sports, so not Wolves directly. So it's not going to affect how Wolves have been run at all, which was a bit of a surprise that they'd sort of announced how they did, I suppose. But I think the strange thing for me is that one of the Peak Six guys is now a director at Wolves.
Yeah, that was
an
the
American guy.
for me,
yeah, but other than that,
I think that's more in the marketing though.
Yeah, probably is. But then I think the Express and Star put out that the club are still looking for main investors in the club. So I don't think this Peak Six are going to help the club hugely financially. If I'm completely honest, I think people saw that and expected us to announce Cristiano Ronaldo on New Year's Day or whatever. But I think it's a step. I know a lot of people don't like it, but in terms of the outside exposure for the club, I think that's a sort of step in the right direction that they need to take.
Yeah, and I know that they've got massive capital expertise across USA, haven't they? And North America is a market that Wolves really want to crack, isn't it? I know there's talk that the pre-season tour is going to be over there. Do you reckon we should go to that? Because I reckon we should.
I'd love to.
They need to announce it early enough, though.
Club against, they wanted to do that match against Club America, didn't they?
Yeah, it's going to be in Texas.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely mental.
Early enough so Dave can book his annual leave with his missus.
Oh,
honestly, we could sell like at least 80,000.
I think you'd struggle to get a ticket.
Jimenez playing. Yeah, with Jimenez playing, he would sell out. By the way, that the Peak Six representatives, it's James Babulas, who is going to be set. He's going to be on the supervisory board of Fosun Sports, not Wolves. Capital management.
Yeah, he's on Fosun Sports, but then there's a director at Wolves, John. He's got like a Polish sounding surname. He's going to be a director at Wolves. That's him. He's going to be a director at Wolves.
Yeah.
It says WW Limited. I don't know what that is.
That's Wolves as a company. WW.
Oh, is it Wolves as a company?
1970s. Okay. Yeah, that's Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
a company's house.
We are with that Fosun Sports. We are moving towards that Red Bull model that they kind of alluded to in their Ask Wolves series. I don't particularly mind it. I'll be interested to see how they do try and crack the market, but I don't think it's going to be one of those partnerships or, and that kind of investment where it's going to come to fruition on the pitch. I think it's going to be commercially off the pitch, but Fosun are savvy businessmen. People have got the concerns around Dundalk, and to be fair, I'm not extremely clued up into what happened there, but I don't think Fosun are going to let Peak Six come into Wolves and strip the club. It's not going to happen. But obviously, some fans think that is, and that these might be famous last words. But I just cannot see it happening for the life of me. But like I said, it's an interesting one, and let's see how they try and crack the market. But there's also some other news as well. I think it was last week. Was it, Dave, with the sports cards? Was it last week?
Yeah, I think so. It's been in the works for ages. So I think it's how do we pronounce it again?
So it's Futera, the sports card company. They're almost like what what kids that have like shootout card and match attacks back in the day. Because I used to collect shootout cards. I used to go mad for shootout cards. Absolutely sensational. They've recently struck up a partnership with Wolves, and they've got the licensing for the player faces and player and club badge and all that, and they've got licenses with Liverpool and PSG, and I think they've been producing these for like 30 to 35 years. But they're not like your run-of-the-mill shootout card. They're a little bit more bespoke, a little bit more rare and collectible items. And apparently there's a massive market for it now. And we managed to catch up with Adam from Futera this week, and he talked us through the partnership and what it means and how you can buy the cards.
Hello, Wolves fans. Adam here from Futera. Unfortunately for my sins, I'm an Evertonian, so very disappointed with the result last night. But let's not talk about how terribly depressing Everton are at the moment with a former Liverpool manager at the helm. Let's talk about why I am talking to you, and that is because I work for Futera. We have made sports cards now for over 30 years. We specialise in football cards. And we have licenses with some huge football clubs, including Liverpool, PSG, Manchester City, Marseille, and Arsenal, and now Wolves. And we really are super chuffed. Forgive my computer. Let me just mute that. We really are super chuffed to have the Wolves license. I genuinely mean that. We worked with Amy at the club. She was great. And Wolves are... I know that fans don't like it when you associate this word with their club, when you talk about the club as a brand, but as the brand, Wolves are a great brand. You know, he's been in the Premier League now for quite some time. A real kind of established name within English football, and as you know, aesthetically the club looks great as well. You know, the jerseys, the colour, they really make for beautiful trading cards. So we released our first 3 cards the other day on the website. Our cards are slightly different, by the way. So here's an example. This is a gold-plated one. They're real collector's items, our cards. There's Jurgen Klopp there and Henderson. As you can see, our cards are a lot thicker as well. These will have gold plates on them. There will be gold-plated Wolves cards coming along at some point. But this is shows you the thickness of our cards. They're not like you would find in a store in England. So they really are collector's items. They're all numbered as well. So we don't do massive print runs. So they really retain and hold their value into the future. And as I said, we relaunched that. We dropped our first 3 cards onto the website the other day for Hee-chan, Drinkout, and Saw. These were headliners cards, very beautiful. Looked a little bit like this one here, this Jack Grealish one. And they were only available for 24 hours, and you know, the Wolves fans that saw them, they were well received and they seemed to like them. So if you feel like you'd be into sports cards, if you could get into this, which lots of people can, it's a buzzing, vibrant hobby at the moment. Head over to the website, scroll down to the bottom and sign up to the newsletter, and then you'll never miss a release from us here at Futera. So thank you for your time. I'll look forward to seeing you very soon. If you have any questions, just reach out to us on our socials. You can find us at Futera on all of the big platforms, and I'll answer any questions that you have. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and doing more Wolves cards in the future.
Big thanks to Adam there from Futera for speaking to Talking Wolves. Hopefully have him on it in the future too. And also big thanks for the 3 points on Monday.
Great Scouse accent, that, by the way.
Up the Toffees.
Yeah, out the Toffees. Yeah, top man. So let's move on to the questions, chaps, because there's actually quite a few. And having a look earlier, there was some very good questions. So I'm just going to get the ones on Twitter first. So
if there's not any about men, I'll be very disappointed.
Wait till 50 minutes.
You can go now, Tom, if you want. Yeah.
We've got a question off Robbie. Is Don Tony Roberts the absolute mastermind behind the scenes at Wolves? He needs a chant. We've never ever had a chant for a coach, have we? Did even TC have one? I don't think he did he?
It was dreadful. I don't know.
I'm trying.
I doubt it.
I'm trying. I've got nothing left.
I remember that
Tony,
2-2 draw against Newcastle and thinking we were actually going to stay up. Jesus.
He's apparently Tony Roberts does a lot on the free kick training.
He does a set pieces.
Yeah.
But like second and third phases of set pieces, which we have seen this season, especially against Villa.
I'd love to have a drink with Tony Roberts. He looks like a right lad.
I reckon he'd drink you under the table, mate. So to be fair, I reckon Sace drink you under the table. He don't even fucking drink. He's Tony Roberts, the mastermind behind Wolves' fortunes.
I think him and Bruno Lage are proper bigging each other up. I thought, you pairing going to need toilet roll after these 2 interviews that you pairing for. I think Tony Roberts was saying that Bruno Lage is basically going to be, one of the, he's worked under Wenger. like he played under Wenger, and he can see the similarities between Wenger and Lage, and he thinks he can go to that sort of level. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. The players sound like they respect him. We've got a lot of time for him. It sounds like he works a lot on the set pieces. But I think it was against Newcastle, him on the touchline, giving orders and commands on that as well. So I think he's our makeshift sub board holder, isn't he? I see him every now and then putting the board up for the subs. But yeah, I like his Twitter videos. So
he's funny.
He's rowdy here about an hour ago. Not so quick, not so loud now.
Proper Yadar, and he's class. He just
I love that though.
He just looks like a gammon, but obviously he's not. But like, he's you need that. You need someone in the club
Bit
like
of personality in it.
It bridges the gap.
Yeah, a bit of Britishness.
Between players and the coach staff, but also like the fans. Like you've seen the past couple of weeks, like fans have like latched onto him, and I mean it's easy when we're playing well and stuff, but I think that's really important. We've not. There's Cody and there's him, isn't there? Really, they're the ones who are the most vocal and all speak out, and they're probably the ones that we can relate to the most. But yeah,
it's almost like having.
Well, he said he's a good coach.
It's almost like having like a backroom captain, almost somebody else in like behind the scenes that is going to give these players a bit of a push. You know, you can see he's got chemistry with these players, which is unbelievable in such a short period of time as well.
Yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye on, mate. He's seems a right good laugh. Question from James
Tony. Let me know.
He's not sweaty enough for you, mate.
It will be after a few pints, I'd say that.
Oh, bloody hell.
What club are you at here, Tom?
For the last 10 minutes, it's gone
Pop world. I'll take it to Pop world.
Gorgeous are your track record, son.
Oh, no. Although that club's always weirded me out. I've drove past that many times and it just looks so... Oh, no.
It's a good place. Continue, Matt. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't let you miss.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Yeah. James Parsons, who do you think the right partner is for Semedo on the right? Always seems to make good runs that rarely get found. Traore gets in his way and Trincao doesn't seem like he wants to play him in. Feel like we have a big asset we're not using properly. You'd probably put Neto there, wouldn't you?
On the right?
Yeah.
On the right.
The way we play.
I don't know.
Cutting in, he'll make a lot more space for Semedo. Yeah. Cutting in on his left. I think it could work, yeah. I don't dislike Trincao. I get his point about Adar. I don't dislike Trincao there. Like we've said earlier,
I think Trincao's better suited.
Yeah, it just needs a bit more time to adjust to the system and the Premier League and stuff, and I think that would work quite well. Will continue to work well.
Yeah, I agree. Like Semedo, he's like Marmite, isn't it? You either love him or you hate him, but he frustrates me. I thought against Everton he was really good though, like the way he was getting forward. He got pinned back a little bit more in the second half.
Someone tagged us, obviously, because we didn't give him a good time, obviously, on the last podcast by the sounds of it. And then the stat came up about him having the most interceptions of dribbles or something like that, or stopping the most dribble attempts.
He's quick though.
Somebody tagged us in that, saying like, "Oh, after all the stick he gave him on the last podcast, look at this stat." So,
cheers, lads.
I mean, it is just stats, though. Do you know what I mean? Stats
usually just pass round him. That's why.
If you love Semedo that much, mate, let him keep on your couch. Bloody hell, we only we only discussed it and like within reason. But anyway, let's not make too many enemies. Moving on to a question from Adama. I don't think it's actually him. It's at Wolves number 37. If an offer of 40 million comes in for Adama, and I think I know everyone's answer for this, in January, would you accept it?
40 million for a player with 6 months left?
No, 18 months.
Oh, another year.
Whoa.
Oh, he's got another year?
Yeah, it's got another year.
Get him out.
18 months he's
Get
got
him
left.
out, yeah. 40 mil, I'd say 40 mil. Yeah.
Well, I think the question really is, what would you accept as a reasonable offer?
60 million.
Yeah,
you just said you'd accept 40 mil.
Horrendous negotiation.
You've always got to keep them on their. You got to keep them on their toes. You got to keep them guessing. Depends who comes in for him. To be fair, if it's Newcastle, then yeah, 60 mil.
I'd accept 40 mil just to see what he'd change his name to on Twitter. That lad. If it's called Wolves and Armour or whatever.
Yeah.
Trincao.
Yeah, I think 40 is a very, very acceptable amount. I think.
Do you think 30
At this
million
current
gets
stage.
him? Because I do. I think 30 million seals the deal.
With extra
Most
incentives in
might,
there.
but I don't know.
It'd be
I wouldn't be
extra
happy with
incentives in there.
30.
I don't think any club he goes to, he will not be able to have the end product. Regardless, he won't have the end product anywhere else. I could see him in terms of a bigger club than us, either Barca or again, but they're just absolutely skint rather, or Chelsea as a wing back under not maybe Chelsea.
Yeah.
Spurs
Chelsea
as
as a
well.
wing back or Spurs as a wing back. Yeah.
Do you think
I could
that
see
he
him at
could be a
Atletico
make way
Madrid.
in the Trincao deal?
Say again.
Trincao deal?
Trincao deal.
Trincao deal.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Straight swap. You'd want a bit of money maybe
don't know.
from Barca.
10 million plus Trincao.
You'd have to wait until the end of the season, though, because I think if we're still having the same conversations about Trincao 2-3 months down the line, I mean, is it even worth
Yeah,
signing
but
him?
we've been
Do you
having
know
the
what I
same
mean?
conversations about Adama 4 years down the line.
Touche.
I'd be
That's a fair
gutted to
point.
lose him.
Yeah,
I'd be
it hurts,
absolutely
doesn't it?
gutted.
The thing
It
is,
hurts
it's
seeing
just
that.
like everyone knows he's got the capability of just so much more, and it's frustrating as hell watching him to try and get out of him. Like, you see that Villa game, the spells he had, he almost, without him, would we have won that game? Possibly not. There was just, I don't know. I hope we see a lot more of him. I hope we proved wrong between now and whenever, January.
You know what? You
whatever.
know what it's going to be though. He'll go to somewhere and he'll go and get 20 goals a season just because he's come from us.
Yeah, exactly.
No. He won't score a goal all season apart from when he plays balls. You know that.
But if he goes to Barcelona, the only way we're going to play him is in the Europa League or Champions League. So I'd bet that if he meant us qualifying for
Probably
the Champions
Europa League.
League and scoring against us, I'd take that. Yeah, it's like I think Bruno's comments in the press conference him about saying, "Well, if the club want to renew, they will. I'll back it." But it seems like it's quite a million miles away, doesn't it?
I don't think he's a Bruno Lage type of player. Unfortunately, he was Nuno's someone. Nuno loved him, but that was it really.
Yeah. Question from at Fabio Silva Goat.
The juxtaposition in emotions there from Dave. He was so happy for about 2 seconds there.
Remember if Fabio Silva tagged us on Instagram when he first joined?
When
yeah.
he joined, I'm so
Are you
weird.
really? No way.
Yeah, he goes, thanks for
Morgan.
joining. Yeah, he joined Wolves and he tagged us in his story on Instagram.
That's fantastic.
But like,
What a bloke.
he tagged like other pages and like the shape of a wolf's head.
Yeah, and then I've DM'd him and he's
Take
never replied ever
pages.
since.
Girly,
And he replies to my sister, Chief.
Hey, Corbiano's good the other night, didn't
I
they?
know, yeah.
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 We don't talk about that. That was a
He was
Bright
like
Cell
a
Keep
conversation,
exclusive and we haven't spoke about it since. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he slotted it right home. And he scored the other night. Anyway, the
Come on,
question,
tell the question.
the question is:
Jesus
do you think we
Next
need to buy?
question.
Do you think we need to buy another striker in Jan?
Only
dunno.
if Fabio goes out on loan.
Yeah.
But I'd get someone a lot more experienced in as a backup.
Kiefer Moore.
We need.
More.
Get him in.
How'd you like it? No, shush.
I don't think we
if
need
Fabio
to.
goes. Yes, we need. I think. Well, at the current squad, we don't. But if Fabio goes out on loan, which I've got a feeling he might do, we'll definitely need to. You can't trust Hwang. If Jimenez gets suspended or injured, I don't. Maybe Hwang is a one-off as a lone striker if you're playing a 3-4-3. But how we played against Villa without Jimenez was absolutely dreadful. I think you need someone a bit more experienced in there.
I mean, in terms of the money, though, if we're quite low on money, I'd rather prioritise a centre mid and a centre back.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't break the bank to sign a striker. One on loan or
Yeah, get someone on loan. Carlos
yeah.
Vinicius, get him in.
yeah. I wouldn't. Is he playing?
Terminate.
Did he go out? On
Terminate
loan
his
in the
loan
end?
at PSV.
No,
It's
yeah, he
PSV,
went
isn't it?
somewhere. Yeah, he's got
PSV?
two goals and an assist the other night. So.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Is that when PSV?
If you look at who
I miss
scored
that.
now, see how he's getting on.
I miss that one.
He's got
PSV.
two
Two
goals. Those 2 goals and assists. He's
All
tally
in
for
one
the
game.
season, mate. So
Jeez.
to be fair, he's only
Good stuff.
started 2 games. His career's gonna go down the shitter, isn't it? Like you can just tell. Like he's not even starting for PSV.
1 goal against Marine. That's it. That's all he's known.
No, he
for.
got a hat trick against Marine, didn't he?
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, and he did the Mbappe celebration.
Lad.
What a bloke!
What a baller. I think it was something to do with his mum or something. Like.
Something to do with his mom.
Yeah, the celebration. Yeah, I think it was because people were laughing at him for it, and then someone on Twitter, Spurs fan on Twitter, said, "Oh, you disrespectful." It was like something about his mom or something like
What?
that. Yeah.
A folding arms celebration?
Yeah.
I can't
search.
remember.
I've
It
got
was
to
a
search
while
it.
ago, but it
Think
was
it-
something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. It was something to do with his family.
Mate, if I scored against Marine now, I don't think I'd celebrate.
Oh no, it's here, apparently. Yeah.
I would. I'd take my top off and jump into the crowd.
With all the other men.
Oh, no. Let's not carry this narrative too far.
You got anything there on the Vinicius rooms, Dave?
Hurry up, lad.
Apparently,
Anyway.
he always celebrates because whenever he scored, his mum used to like to show everyone where she lived that he scored and celebrated. I mean, it's not that deep.
Yeah, but not against fucking Marine. Come on,
Yeah,
Carl.
who cares?
Harry Mansell, and this is the last one for Twitter before we go on to Instagram. Which current Wolves player would you want by your side in a street fight? Good question. For me, it's Marcel. He's a
I've
killer.
just thought
He's a
mine.
natural born
Nah.
killer.
Sace.
Yeah.
Pedence, yeah. Pedence got a bit of a little man syndrome, isn't he?
Yeah, Pedence would
Me
be
and
like
Pedence,
WWE
honestly.
when that little
me,
guy
and- me,
got
me and
under
Pedence
the
would be
ring.
like Hornswoggle. Be like two Hornswoggles.
Yeah, that's the one.
Pedence would be like
You couldn't
Hasbulla.
get near us.
Hilton.
You wouldn't be able to get near us. We got the low centre of gravity. You know, we're so small. You'd be swinging and it'd be going over our heads. It'd be a nightmare. We could like jump on you and like get our legs around your neck and like.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Tom? Flip it.
No.
Purple Aki here in the chat. Look at
Oh,
Let me squeeze your muscles, fella.
that.
I'd
I'd say Sace.
please, lad.
I'd say Sace.
Who would you have? Finn?
Yeah.
Say some more. Yeah, maybe Connor Cody. Do you reckon?
What?
No,
What?
he's Scouse, isn't he?
Yes,
He's not
Harvey.
from St Helens. He's Scouse as I am.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, fair point. I think I'd lean towards Marcel out of them two. I think Sace would find it too funny.
I reckon Jimenez has seen some stuff in his time as well, growing up in Mexico.
Probably.
Because just like and Marcel's just he's got a lovely smile, but you know that he'd kick his own granny, wouldn't he, if he needed to. So for me, it's
No, I don't
definitely-
reckon he would. You know, I reckon he's like a big family man. I reckon he's like a big family man. If you mess with his family, like that's it. You're gone.
Dom Toretto.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
And he drives really fast cars off cliffs and like
Yeah.
flies planes and stuff.
Is this a thought that you've just been thinking about all season? You just come to you now.
Love to see Marcel on Fast and Furious. That'd be class.
What is this guy on about today?
Well,
But honestly, oh no, okay, never mind. Let's
I'd love
move
to
on.
see
all right,
Marcel,
go to
but I
Instagram,
never
mate.
thought that.
I think he'd be good on Fast and Furious. But,
I think Jose Sarr might be pretty handy because he just seems a bit of a madman.
Shout, yeah. I was
Yeah.
looking at his tattoos
It's just
as
a
well.
beard, though.
Got fighter across his neck here, just in little. And then I
Okay.
couldn't read what he's got on his knuckles, but he's got something.
Probably love hate.
Yeah.
Love and hate.
live,
The
laugh,
scales
love.
of justice. Yeah.
We got a question on Instagram now from Ad Sidaway, a friend of the pod.
Big up.
After the first 40 minutes against Everton, do you think 3-4-3 can work under Lage?
I think it works. I think it works anyway.
Yeah.
As long as the ball back him, I think he's made it work and look, excitable for fans as well. As Nuno did, we saw it. Although Nuno it was very negative and defensive at times, we still saw it. It can work. So I think you just need the players, just need the mentality that you can attack and go at teams, and it's absolutely fine.
No,
I'd
I
rather wait
agree.
until next season to change formation.
Yeah,
I
well, I
agree
wouldn't do it
with you.
mid-season.
This season.
Yeah.
No.
There's no need to change loads this season, I don't think. But with 4-4-2 though, which centre half do you play alongside a new centre half?
But you'd say Bolly, wouldn't you? Bolly
I'd
or
probably say
Kilman. But
Cody. I genuinely would.
Mm.
If you can get a very, very good centre half to play alongside Cody, I think you can put him in there.
I wouldn't. I reckon he'll play back four at the end of December.
No,
I
I
reckon
don't
he'll
know.
play Cody and Kilman in the back four at the end of December.
Yeah,
It was
I don't want
interesting
that.
to see at the
Against
open
Arsenal.
training session that was a back 5 versus a back 4, and I'm trying to remember, it was Bolly and someone playing the back 2, and then the 4, and it was Silver and Pedence up front. But that was interesting to see. They're obviously practicing it for when the time comes, as you say, Dave, possibly for the.
Did you
Yeah,
go
they've
to
got
the
to be
open training
thinking
session,
about it.
Finn?
Not officially, but I know my way around Molyneux.
Do you watch?
His dad was streaming on Dingles, we?
No, I snuck in into the. I got into the It's happened now. They can't get me, can they? I got into the president's bit and then like walked down, and then that Luis Nascimento just came and sat next to me. I was like, oh, all right. He came to watch us from above, and
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
so-
you probably need to like explain to people that you haven't broke into Molyneux, that you actually
No,
have
no.
like a purpose at Molyneux.
yeah.
Simon Wilson here, starting his breaking into Molyneux
Yeah.
YouTube account.
Video coming soon. I'm just on the roof.
Alright.
But no, yeah, I was already in the building and at lunch. Well, took lunch early and had a wander through. I wasn't meant to be there, but
What was the open training session like? Was it any good?
yeah, it was good. And I had to leave just before the sort of, well, I was in the sort of training area. So before there was a lot of fun games going on, Zorb balls and whatever. And then Bruno did a Q&A after. And it wasn't great, I don't think, for the players, as in they had to keep their distance still for photos and all that. But it was interesting. It was like quite competitive training as well, because all the kids are cheering when people are scoring. It was just fun, yeah. And everyone dressed up in their Halloween costumes. There was Sky Sports there, Talk Sport there. So it's a big deal.
Good.
I went to one of those. Sorry, I think it was when Nuno had just taken over. They did one at Compton. Obviously, didn't have to pay back then. You know, we got posted.
I went to a
when
Paul
you went
Lambert
down
one as well.
Say again.
Is that when you met Cav?
Yeah, there's a few pictures of players there.
pictures,
But the one was Costa was still like coming back from injury, and he come out, and everyone chased Helder Costa because obviously he was the big thing the year before. It was just before we'd signed Neves, like the week before. And Zyro was unbelievable in that session. They had like little 5-side games, and Mikel Zyro was unbelievable.
Good player.
Nuno,
Yeah.
I think, just shipped him out, didn't they?
I miss Zyro. He had a great start.
Fucking miss him.
Yeah, I missed that. No, those first few. Those first few games he played were unreal. He was unbelievable.
When will I see you again? First game he bagged twice. To be fair.
Yeah, he's going
He was
that failed
fast,
knee
wasn't
slide.
he?
You can do it on FIFA.
Who was it that snapped his leg? Oh,
MK Dons it was.
MK Don,
MK
yeah.
Don's.
Some MK Donny. Yeah.
Ruined his career.
Don's like Ali.
Got a picture with him at the training as well. Yeah, Cameron Borthwick Jackson.
I
as well at
watched
the moment.
Liam McAlinden actually a couple of weeks ago. There's a name.
Wrexham.
Talking of MK Dons, yeah, for Wrexham. He was playing for them. I was surprised.
Apple's Barmy
I just
Army.
completely forgot.
How did he play?
He was all right. Paul Mullin was the main attraction for me. He was class. He's just running
he
the show.
sweaty?
He's weight.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention, mate. I was too pissed.
Yeah, I watched the 23s game before at Compton, and George Ellicoe played centre half actually, and McAlinden missed a penalty, and they ended up losing 1-0. That's a story for you.
McAlinden used to be in Silks in Cannock. I don't know if anyone's listening who lives in Cannock or surrounding areas will know Silks well. It's not open anymore. Bad shit all over the club, proper sticky floors. And he used to just sit in there. He used to just sit in there when he was like being
Floors,
selected.
Dave.
Just
Go on.
what's he say?
I said Tom likes this.
It wasn't one of them
God.
clubs, right?
I regret
You won't be able to go in
starting
your gimp suit, Tom. You'd have to take that off before you go.
this. I regret ever just saying sweaty, man. This is the worst thing I could have possibly said.
Well,
My
we did say-
reputation
we
has
did
gone
say
down
this
the
when
drain.
when you did say it, and we were like, you just carried on. So
No, but it's all in jest.
it is.
Or is it?
Is it? I mean,
Or is it?
Just pack it in. Shush. Yeah. Got a question here. Van der Beek, link and thoughts. Yes, please. And probably not going to happen.
yeah, I mean, I've seen it linked, a fairly okay source, but I think he's probably he's had a new agent. He's probably just getting his name out there under this new agency, isn't it? So, I'd take him, but then you're forcing Matinho or Neves out this side, and some people say, yeah, sound, but it'd be a good option, I think. Yeah, but you know, he not played a huge amount of Premier League football recently, so it's one of them, innit?
What do you reckon, chaps?
It's very Man United are just like Sancho's getting Van der Beek as well now. It's going to become probably a verb. Like how it's not fair on him. He was 40 million one, Donny van de Beek, and he was unreal in the Champions League the year before. So of course I'd take him. I mean, that's an unbelievable option in midfield. Especially like watching Pogba the other night in the Champions League. Why doesn't he at least get a go? I think he came on for 10 minutes again. And I mean, as funny as the memes are of, like, I saw someone see that one saying he should just start a travel blog or whatever. And so that one, it was like
Simon Wilson
about the rating benches. Yeah, but no, yeah, take him all day.
Yeah, even Sancho, mate. I saw it was like he's literally like Cameron Borthwick-Jackson this season. Like,
yeah, Cameron.
It's just the same bloke. I remember when we signed Borthwick-Jackson, I was like, he's a player, and we're going to do well.
Gas when we signed him,
He was absolutely dog shit.
He was good in the game against Newcastle when we beat
Newcastle, yeah. What a day.
What a day. Finally, lads, I'll ask you. I think I'm going to do this at the end of each podcast just to see how we differ. Where do you think we're going to finish this season? Dave's not happy. He's got to put his cock on the block now. And he doesn't like
ninth. Yeah.
Finn.
Last time I think I said 10th to 12th. 9 is my lucky number. I'm going to say 10th, just inside the top half, and then we build.
Leeds pair today. My word.
9 is my lucky number, so I'm going to go.
I'm going to go 10.
Sorry, I went 9 is my lucky number, but that's what I was meant to say because I didn't want to say the same as Dave. But I'm going to go 10.
Tom.
You
Still think Dendonka's going to get 15 league goals?
That was 15.
I still think Morgan Gibbs is going to get in the England squad.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm gonna be a bit cheeky. I'm gonna say 8th.
It's not
I thought you were going to say like 5th.
Yeah, I'm good. I think France.
Higher than everyone else.
Cheeky.
So
You might laugh at me. You might not like
a
it.
bit different.
8th.
This is. I
Still
think
no
if we have a
European
decent
competition.
January,
Extra
I think
million.
if we have a decent January window, we could still push for top 7. I think we can get.
We're all
to
being
Europe
conservative, aren't we? I think we know in the back of our minds a couple of good
more
times.
Labour,
We could
mate,
maybe
to be
be
honest.
I'll
Go on, Matt. Say 6th.
Oh, I might have 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
No,
sad. You
No,
sad.
I still reckon about 12th.
Swear.
Really?
Yeah, I think
above us,
so. It's just the inconsistencies. It all, like I said, that's based on where we are now.
It boils down to December for me, doesn't it? That's when you play the big boys.
Yeah, which is what we were saying earlier, isn't it? If we have a good December and maybe get a point at Liverpool and like a point at City or something and keep the momentum rolling, then who knows? But I still think like 11th or 12th at the minute. I think there's other teams that are going to come good. I think Arsenal are going to still be up there. I think Spurs under Conte are a different beast. I think when Everton sat Benitez, they may get Calvert-Lewin back and Decore back there, a good side. So we shall see.
As well.
Which will see Leicester. So this season was always really about consolidating with the lack of business we did. But if we have a strong window in January, who knows? But my concern is we're still going to be like 8th and 9th in Jan. And Fosun are going to look at it and think that's enough.
Yeah.
They got back Bruno.
Yeah,
Good point.
You've got to back Bruno. I think that's the best place to end it. Gents, it's been an absolute pleasure as usual. David, where can people find you should they wish?
At Dave Azzopardi on Twitter, DAVEAZZOPARDI.
Finn, where can people find you?
Finners, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, FINERRZ.
Thomas, where can people find you should they wish?
Twitter at Tom_Parker12.
How about your OnlyFans?
Energy
Angels. That's not up yet. That's not up yet. I've still got to
How
find
much
it.
are you flogging that a month now?
Oh God. Well, I started off at about $5.50, but it wasn't selling very well. So I might do like a Christmas discount or something at like £2.
Yeah, I might get my dad that because I'm struggling to get him a present. People can find me, M Cooper Writes on Twitter and Instagram, and Matt Cooper Bites on YouTube, and also TikTok now. I've ventured onto there. So I haven't got enough hobbies. As always, I'm going to let Dave close the show because he does something a lot better than me. He's been doing this for years. So crack on, David. Sign us off.
No problem, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave us a review. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And from us all, until next time, we'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers, guys.